People who own multiple pets, what is some drama going on between them right now? Dog 1 is trying to trick Dog 2 into following her into the garden, so that Dog 1 can then storm back indoors to take Dog 2's bone she is enjoying. Dog 3 is sitting on the couch quietly waiting for this to happen, to be the actual winner of this scheme. I occasionally watch my friend's 2 dogs, a Pyrenees and a Border Collie, mix at my place, and with my own dog. The Pyrenees acts dumb, but is actually way more crafty than the other 2, the boys. If either of them are taking up a spot she wants, like her favorite spot on the couch or the sunny spot by the front door, she'll walk over to a window and start growling and barking at nothing until the boys come over to see what's up. Then she saunters over to the now open spot and leaves the other 2 still barking and confused. In Dutch we literally say when 2 dogs fight over a bone, a third one will take it. I don't anymore, but I once had both a cat and a guinea pig some 25 years ago, and they seemed to hate each other. Whenever my cat got near the cage, the guinea pig would start squealing aggressively at the cat and the cat would swat at the cage, while sporting a look of utter disgust. That was a daily routine. It was the first thing that happened in the morning, and it lasted a minute, then they didn't bother each other for the rest of the day, and the cat could even nap on top of the cage at times without any protest for either. It was just part of the day for them. That drama just had to happen every day. That went on like that for 7 years. The guinea pig got really sick because he was old, and I realized he doesn't have long left. I picked him up out of the cage and put him on my lap so he didn't have to die alone. The fucking cat came up and licked the guinea pig and laid on my lap beside him until he passed. Apparently the cat loved him all along. The 7-year drama was just their thing. That still amazes me. Dear Diary, it has been 152 days since the human has brought home a large rodent. I assume it is intended to be a meal in the future, but the human perplexes me by continuing to feed the rodent and keeping it alive in a small cage. Meanwhile, the human still feeds me small pellets. I have repeatedly tried to draw attention to the perfectly adequate meal at the tip of my paw, but the human seems to be either deaf, stupid, or just cruel. There is no logic in this place. That is so adorable. My cat Isis would cuddle and groom our elder rats before they passed, while our other cat, Kitty, would ignore them. When it was her turn, Kitty groomed Isis. My roommate has 2 large male dogs and I have a small female dog. My roommate's male dogs like to roughhouse and play around sometimes. Whenever they get too loud, my little dog will raise her head and growl ever so slightly, just enough for them to hear her. As soon as she does, they stop for a minute and start playing quieter. Fucking surreal to see. I had a female Chihuahua mix who was like that. We used to call her the fun police at the park, because anytime dogs would start roughhousing a little too much, she'd run over and get in the middle of it, and the other dogs would just stop. She was like 9 lbs. Dogs are 100% about attitude and not physical capability. The number of big dogs I've seen completely subservient to little dogs they could easily eat is just hilarious. I have a cat, a puppy, and a dog. Cat likes to lure the puppy under the bed and he can get under, but gets stuck in the middle where it's the lowest. I have to rescue him usually around 2 AM, and he wakes me up by scratching the floor trying to get out. Cat also likes to knock off things from the counter he knows puppy should not be chewing on. Puppy and cat like to wrestle with each other, but dog doesn't like the ruckus and barks at them to stop. Cat doesn't like the barking, so then he chases dog. Puppy follows cat, and there's a train of 3 Tom and Jerry style through the house. At the end of the day though, they are always in a big cuddle pile, so I think they'll be okay. Puppy follows cat, and there's a train of 3 Tom and Jerry style through the house. I hope your house has a hallway full of doors, so that they can constantly run through one, and come out of a different one. Sounds like it can be chaos sometimes. The dog doesn't like when the cat gives him dirty looks. The cat knows this, will deliberately stare him down, and then expertly leap out of the way when he goes to chase her. Our dog is very stupid and cannot stand when the cat stares at him. We have a baby gate to keep the dogs away from the cat's food and litter, and the cat will sit behind the baby gate, tail swishing, and bore holes into him. He loses his goddamn mind. I adopted a cat from a lady who was moving. It was a Maine Coon stray that adopted this lady, but the neighbors couldn't stand the cat because it would taunt all their dogs by sitting outside their patio doors cleaning herself while the dogs inside were going crazy. She would run as soon as she heard the patio door unlock. She was afraid that when she moved the neighbors would trap the cat and send it to the pound. She ended up adopting my neighbors and would sleep on their trampoline and play with their kids. Crystal c.imga.com2.jpg. To cats. I opened the window for the first time this year since the weather is finally nice. They have been pushing each other away for the best spot to smell the air. Same. One open window in the house, in my office next to my desk. My 2 girls usually share really well, but the window has been causing squabbles. Edit photo evidence simga.com gallery Rossasax. OMG, I still crack windows in the winter for fresh air. We got a puppy 2 weeks ago. Our elderly cat is furious when we do dog training sessions because cat deserves the treats instead. We end up doing joint training sessions and the cat is actually much more consistent than puppy. Edited to @PetTags. Pimga.com gallery 2u2ptqt. In my house, if a package crinkles, it must be treats. And if there are treats, they must be for kitty and puppy, but kitty first. Kitty first. We made the mistake of giving one of our 2 cats a piece of rotisserie chicken cause I had dropped it while striping the meat off. Our cat can now pinpoint which grocery bag has the chicken if we buy one and attempts to rip into the bag to get it. He also sits next to me and meows while I prepare it for salads or whatever. In college, we lived in the 2nd floor and would leave the sliding glass door open with the screen door shut on nice days. We'd often come home to find my dog stuck on the balcony. We figured out that my roommate's cat was opening the screen door to let the dog out and then closing the door. Look doggo, the door is open. Go smell all the smells. I'm your friend. I help. Closest to haha victory is mine drool face. Now I can slumber in peace. Wait, that's hilarious. How did the cat do that? The dachshund will not stop invading the beagle's personal space crate to suck on her ears. The beagle has had it and wants it to stop. 2 things though. 1. Beagles have a really hard time being stern and intimidating too. Dachshunds are not easily intimidated. So this morning we had 40 minutes of beagle growling not very convincing sounding, and dachshund sass barking back ending up as usual with an annoyed beagle with soggy ears. It's hopeless. Edit here they are. Simga.com revolved. My mom's beagle is the exact opposite. She acts like she's royalty. She's easily top dog. She's 9. Mom also has a purebred blue heeler who's about 3 or 4. He's twice the weight of the beagle and is nearly 50 pounds of pure muscle. He's terrified of the beagle, despite 100% being able to take her in a fight. I'm told the other day the beagle kicked both of mom's other dogs out of bed because they kept moving around and fidgeting. She gets pissy when I visit with my dog. Whenever my dog does something she doesn't, like she'll loudly bark in his face and force him or the other dogs out of the room. One thing I learned about growing up with the dachshunds: they don't understand what personal space is, and even if they did, they don't give a fuck. I occasionally watch my friend's 2 dogs, a Pyrenees and a Border Collie, mix at my place, and with my own dog. The Pyrenees acts dumb, but is actually way more crafty than the other 2, the boys. If either of them are taking up a spot she wants, like her favorite spot on the couch or the sunny spot by the front door, she'll walk over to a window and start growling and barking at nothing until the boys come over to see what's up. Then she saunters over to the now open spot and leaves the other 2 still barking and confused. Yes, when my baby girl got old she would lay on the couch, and when she heard someone pass by she'd give a low growl to get other dogs worked up and barking like crazy at the windows. She was too tired to do it, but someone had to bark at everyone walking by the house and she watched them get yelled at. Years ago had I 3 bully breed dogs, and my only girl used to pull this on the boys when they were hogging the couch. Always made me laugh at her smarts. My 2 dogs like the same bed, so they will fight over it until the end result is they just both sleep on it, while the other bed just goes unused. I don't see the difference between the 2, they are both super soft. Is it position in the room? What if you switched the unused bed with the bed they fight over? I have moved the beds around. Sometimes they will sleep separately, with one dog reluctantly taking the second option bed. If I switch the beds, then they will sleep on it as well. But if both beds are present, their favorite is always their priority. Lol. My dad says it might be the texture. One is slightly smoother, so it feels cooler. Our dog is very stupid and cannot stand when the cat stares at him. We have a baby gate to keep the dogs away from the cat's food and litter, and the cat will sit behind the baby gate, tail swishing, and bore holes into him. He loses his goddamn mind. As a kid we had a dog on an invisible fence and a pair of outdoor cats. The cats memorized the entire boundary of the fence and would spend all day sunning themselves inches beyond the dog's reach as she stared and vibrated with tension. After many years of this, I was coming home from a walk with the dog and she managed to slip her collar, then sprinted at one of the cats from outside the fence. Cat tensed up preparing for a fight. Dog realized cat wasn't running, skidded to a halt in front of her, sniffed her for a few seconds, barked once in her face, then proudly trotted back to me. Life's goal accomplished. I can't even stand when my cat stares at me, which is all the fucking time. You'd think she had something better to do. We have 2 dogs, a very large all-black German Shepherd, and a recently adopted miniature dachshund. At first they were getting along fine, but now the German Shepherd literally follows the little dachshund around everywhere he goes. They're literally inseparable now, and it's kind of adorable lol. The only real drama that's come from this is that now both dogs fight for attention whenever the other seems to get some. Here's a picture of them in case you all wanted to see them. Simga.com Galaridon 3RK. Edit OMG, I just got off of work and saw this post blow up. I'll let the good boys know that Reddit loves them when I get home lol. We always want to see pictures. Always. Wow, your pet dog has a pet dog. Dear Diary. It has been 152 days since the human has brought home a large rodent. I assume it is intended to be a meal in the future, but the human perplexes me by continuing to feed the rodent and keeping it alive in a small cage. Meanwhile, the human still feeds me small pellets. I have repeatedly tried to draw attention to the perfectly adequate meal at the tip of my paw, but the human seems to be either deaf, stupid, or just cruel. There is no logic in this place. Lol, I died. I read this in Ze Frank's voice in his sad cat diary video. It fits so perfectly. Just change the human to the authorities. https www.youtube.com watch vpkffm2ui4dk https www.youtube.com watch vpkffm2ui4dk. Dear Diary, the rodent died today. Owner took it out of its cage and let it rest on her lap in its final moments. Her back was angled over the rodent and her face was stretched in an odd way, like eating foul fish. I decided to lay next to her, allowing my presence to comfort her. I think it helped. I wanted to consume the fresh corpse, but something in me said that it would be poor form. We adopted a heavily abused and partially blind dog who was full of anxiety. We also have 4 cats, but only 2 of them are brave enough to go visit her. The drama is that when she hears all the cats running around playing, she wants to join, but being semi-blind and a 50-50 chance it won't be a friendly cat, she just gets sad and whines. Maybe attach bells to the friendly ones. My big anxious rescue dog loves cats so much. He doesn't know what to do with them besides stare and creep closer and closer. One inside cat likes the chase but no cuddles. Outside cats will cuddle him if he doesn't chase. I had a female Chihuahua mix who was like that. We used to call her the fun police at the park because anytime dogs would start roughhousing a little too much, she'd run over and get in the middle of it, and the other dogs would just stop. She was like 9 lbs. My mom had a Chihuahua mix that behaved like this. We also called her the fun police. This reminds me of my sheep who. My cat and my brother's cat will chase each other around the house and the dog will bark and run up to them like a referee. I think she's just jealous that they won't play with her. In my house, if a package crinkles, it must be treats. And if there are treats, they must be for Kitty and Puppy, but Kitty first. Kitty first. We made the crinkle mistake for far too long. Change to a tub or jar. Just pour the packets in. Saves you getting hassled when you just want a damn M&M in peace. My Chihuahua takes Prozac because she is so damn nervous. I take my vitamins when I give her Prozac, so if I open the medicine cabinet around that time, the dog freaks out if a pill bottle even moves. Since I give it to her in a pill pocket treat, I'll give the cats treats too. So now the cat's coming running too if they hear pill bottles, or the dog having an anxiety attack. Edit, not really an anxiety attack per se, just insanely excited for the treats. As a kid we had a dog on an invisible fence, and a pair of outdoor cats. The cats memorized the entire boundary of the fence, and would spend all day sunning themselves inches beyond the dog's reach as she stared and vibrated with tension. After many years of this, I was coming home from a walk with the dog and she managed to slip her collar, then sprinted at one of the cats from outside the fence. Cat tensed up preparing for a fight. Dog realized cat wasn't running, skidded to a halt in front of her, sniffed her for a few seconds, barked once in her face, then proudly trotted back to me. Life's goal accomplished. I saw a gif recently of 2 dogs barking through a gate at each other. When the gate would open they would pause. Once closed, the dogs would bark again. A commenter explained that the dogs aren't necessarily barking because they're aggressive towards each other. They are barking because they are frustrated by the barrier, and dogs don't have as many outlets for frustrations like humans do. Not sure on the validity of that, but the dude seemed like he knew what he was talking. Could be fun to look into. That's brilliant.